Hey, everybody. My name is Joel White. I'm the leader of the Capacity Core team, and I'm giving you a financial report of our sort of mid year. We're a little bit past mid year, but we are coming to the end of our mapping process. So it made sense to check in on our finances as we were setting new goals and checking in on our goals from the previous map. In terms of our budget, one of the things that we have been doing is actually relative to our goals is kind of being a better stewards of our resources in terms of what goes in our good business bucket and what goes in our church bucket. We're one organization, and our good businesses and our church aren't separate, but organizationally, it makes sense to kind of tease those two lines out or those two organizations out inside of the church to be conscious of what's actually going on because we want to have a church that is alive and generates good businesses and not have a church that's sort of dependent on good businesses for revenue. So what does that mean? Um, well, it means that our sharing is critical to our mission. We're not a group that just has a business and this church thing that happens. Our good businesses and everything were generated by our church, and we want to keep growing the mission of the church that's expressed in our good businesses. Um, Sort of what that means in terms of our finances is we're doing a pretty good job. We don't necessarily, if you look at the budget report, you will notice that maybe we're not keeping up as well as we could, or we're not hitting our projections. They're not really written in stone, though. The budget is written with some expansion. It's a little bit of a casting. It casts a vision in itself. So the budget um, has a core operating expense idea to it, and we are covering all of those. So, in terms of whether or not Circle of Hope is solvent, yes, it is. The question that we might ask beyond that is how are we expanding our mission and how does our sharing enable us to do that? And that's really kind of the core of the budget and this organization. We want our sharing to be an expression of our vision to be a community that is invested in one another and invested in changing the world. One of the big words that you hear a lot is mutuality. We even have a mutuality fund that we use to share with people who have needs in our own community and with the needs of communities beyond just Philadelphia and our region. We tie 20% uh, to other organizations. We even do this in our good businesses. They also use part of their profits to reinvest in the community around them. So we're big on sharing, and we're big on sharing hopefully individually too. When I was talking to the other members of the Capacity Core about what they wanted me to say during this little check-in, the only thing that came back was we really want to emphasize the need to be sharers, and that's not just because we need money. We obviously do, but we need people to actually be invested in this vision of a common life that gets expressed through sharing our resources, whether that's time or meals or money. So this is a big part of being who we are. And I think we do a pretty good job of that. We're committed to being good stewards of our finances. We do meet our operating expenses, and we actually have a pretty kind of extravagant plan for the future. We're invested in what God is trying to do in the world, and we're literally investing in that with our money, and our planning includes that. So yeah, we're doing pretty good this year. We could always be doing better, but that's sort of just the nature of trying to grow something. And that is hopefully what we're all trying to do, be grown by God and grow the kingdom of God. So yeah, the finances are pretty strong. How we allocate our existing resources is really most of the question that we have to deal with on the capacity core and as the leadership team in general. Whether or not we'll be able to accomplish all of our big ideas, that's really what we're talking about when we talk about our finances. We're trying to do the next thing, not just what we have done in the past. So yeah, I think that we're well positioned to try to accomplish those things that are next and what we're trying to do as a body. So yeah, I think things are in reasonably good shape. There's nothing to be sort of pulling alarm bells about right now, and there's a lot to be happy about too. So yeah, that's where we are. Thanks.